Hello. Hello. Welcome to Streamer News. We're back. We've taken a couple weeks off. This month has been insane. It has been insanely busy, hellish. There's a lot that's been going on, so I haven't really been able to keep up with the bi-weekly Streamer News or the Stream Critique series, but they're coming back. We're here for this. I didn't hit start recording again. Now I've hit start recording. That's always annoying. Hopefully things will continue running smoothly here. Looks like we're off to a good start. Hope everybody had a great week. Happy Friday. We've got quite a few big topics to talk about. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I am streaming in 4K this week. What? Video 3840 by 2160. It is 4K. I am in the low latency mode. Does that mean that you don't get 4K? It only shows 360p in my preview. That's not accurate. I said we were off to a good start. Did I jinx it? Before we go too much further? I am. No, it's showing at least 1440. I don't know why it's only showing 1440. That's interesting. Huh. Okay, well, I'm trying out the low latency mode for me, or for the first time. Maybe that limits me to 1440p for some reason. That's really weird. That's fine. 1440p is fine for this week. I will turn off the low latency mode for next time. I can't turn it off now that I have started the stream. So that's unfortunate. I wish I would have known that. It doesn't tell you. But I am on low latency mode, so hopefully we have a little bit better of a chatting experience. It looks like it's fairly quick now though, so that is pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and flip over. I do have a new format screen here. There we go. That way you guys can keep track of the topics just a little bit better, and then I can keep track of the topics. And we got quite a few things to cover this week. I am pretty excited. There's a big story towards the end, as you can see, and then some really cool stuff to show off in the unboxing section as well. Before we get into the actual news topics, it does tell you if you hover over the question mark. All it told me was that it had low latency. It didn't mention anything about resolution limiting. Dark mode chat saved the OLEDs. I can't use dark mode without signing into chat, and then you see all the spam messages before the mods remove it. So that's an unfortunate downside. But before we get into the actual news topics, I did want to go ahead and call out that I had a couple videos here. I had a couple videos that went live this past week that I highly recommend if you're interested in streaming stuff. First and foremost is the dual GPU for OBS video. Finally put that to the test. There are some potential expansions I could make, but overall, honestly, I just recommend not doing it, even if there's some niche use cases. It's just generally not a good time. And then, of course, my XSplit Masterclass. The entire course is available now. So if you're just waiting on the individual episodes, but you want to learn more, there's 18 videos at the moment. You can go watch them all. There is one that I need to swap out, but otherwise, it's all there and ready to go. I highly recommend you check it out. I also have a video coming up. Hang on, I need to try something real quick. Transition over. I need a hotkey that is purely dedicated to changing the transition. That would probably save me some time. I did also want to mention that I have a big, massive video coming soon. And I will be referencing it in the AMD story today. But I have a full, massive video coming soon detailing the video quality analysis. I did one last year comparing Navi to NVENC. Well, I have one comparing multiple generations of AMD, NVIDIA, and Intel QuickSync versus X264. And I think that the data that comes from it is actually very telling and quite interesting to see. So I'm very, very excited to show that to you. That is coming very soon. But let's go ahead and get into our first news story today. And that is that in the upcoming Windows 10 update, which this has been teased for a while, but with the insider previews of Windows updates, a lot of things do not end up getting actually fully publicly released, such as tabs in Explorer. That was one of the big ones. There was a customized terminal that took forever to release. A lot of these things that they say are coming in, the insider updates in a future update and end up not actually happening. Well, we finally have like full confirmation that a fix in Windows 2004, which will be the April update, or Windows 20H1, there will be a fix that fixes the issues that Windows DWM had for streaming when you have multiple different refresh rates of your monitor. So if you have a 144 hertz gaming monitor and a 60 hertz side monitor, there were some issues with basically your frame rate of your gaming monitor getting locked awkwardly and some weirdness like that. So this fix actually prevents that. So there's a whole article detailing this, but there's also a Reddit post that shows it in person here. I kind of full screen this, where before in 1909, you start moving anything, which includes the OBS preview on that second monitor, then the motion test shows that your frame rate's locked and it's a little weird. Whereas with the new fix, it works. Now there is a caveat to this in that your secondary monitor must be no less than 1/3 the refresh rate of your highest monitor. So it can only, it's kind of like G-Sync, not the same, but the same kind of idea where you have a range of what the DWM can adapt to, which is the desktop window manager. And so, for example, if you have a 60 hertz screen with a 240 hertz screen, you don't get to maintain that 240 hertz. Your main screen will be dropped to 180 hertz because that is three times the refresh rate of your lowest end monitor. So that's something to keep in mind. But this has been a big issue for all of Windows 10. This article actually says that it's been an issue since Windows Vista. However, it also goes on to say that the DWM option was introduced in Windows 8.1 or in Windows 8. So I'm not sure. There are some people who claim this is not a problem, that this is not a problem on Windows 7, but it's only a problem on Windows 10. But then some people say they've had it since Vista. Either way, this has been a big issue for streamers, and even I have experienced it, where you have your OBS preview up on your 60 hertz panel, and you're trying to game at 144 hertz, and either you get render lag as a result of it, or you get some weird inconsistent like stuttering on your stream because it's messing with the performance of your primary monitor due to that mixed refresh rate issue. So this fix is coming in Q1, or at least in H1. It is slated for an April release, but the May release of 2019 didn't really fully finish releasing until fall 2019. So we'll see. But this is big for streamers, and I am super stoked for that. Moving on to the next topic. For the first time pretty much ever, YouTube has actually released their earnings, their actual, their revenue, their income. It's a $15 business in just the past 3 months. And this was at, January, December, and November. In just those 3 months, it generated $5 billion in ad revenue. And overall for 2019, it generated $15 billion of revenue, which is about 10% of all of Google's revenue. Now, a lot of people like to think that YouTube is like the number one thing that Google owns or whatever. And in fact, for many years, Google was reporting YouTube as a loss, as a $15 business, $15 billion business. Thank you very much. But for a while, Google was reporting YouTube as a loss, as it wasn't making them money. A lot of people said they were lying about that, and then suddenly it's making them $15 billion. And this doesn't necessarily say, because this is just how much revenue was generated. It doesn't say what their expenses are. So theoretically, it could still be getting run at a loss. There's actually a full report here. It might include expenses or what the gross is. I have not looked operating loss. It doesn't look like the operating loss is more than the actual gains. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's profitable at this point. I could be mistaken. I'm not going to dig through the report right now, but I'll have it linked in the video description for a little bit. But $15 billion. And that's 10% of all of Google stuff. The point I was making is that people, sorry, I got thrown off. Someone was asking if audio was cutting out. That's an issue I never want to have happen. But, people like to think that YouTube is Google's number one business. But in fact, Google owns and operates a lot. And YouTube apparently only makes up 10% of what they actually bring in. They, of course, have plenty of other programs. It says that they have 20 million subscribers across the premium options. So that's YouTube Premium and then YouTube Music Premium. They're getting rid of Google Play Music. And then more than 2 million subscribers on YouTube TV, which is pretty impressive. I only messed with YouTube TV a couple times, and it was a pretty decent experience, but I have heard some complaints back and forth about it. But pretty interesting to finally get some of that information. Derek Gott brings up that they cut all monetization to smaller channels, so that added profit to them. Yes, but not a significant amount. Like inherently, those smaller channels were not bringing in that much revenue in the first place because they weren't getting that many ad runs. Like that's, I can't imagine, you know, that difference probably was negligible compared to what, you know, what their real revenue sources are. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine literally cutting off monetization for their lowest performing channels. Yeah, that's the thing. But just wanted to report on that. We're doing the unboxing segment early this time around just because I have a few things I want to cover that leads directly into upcoming content, and I really want to spend a lot of time on that AMD thing without feeling like I got to rush to the break. So we're actually going to do the unboxing before we run an ad, and then I got to run my own ad as always. We've got a few things that I am super stoked to show to you guys, and we can go ahead and cut back to this view here. I'm trying to utilize more scenes so you guys know where we're at in the stream. I like this better overall, but it's still, the event list keeps showing Twitch events, so we're just going to take that off. First and foremost, last streamer news, I tried showing off, you know, a certain Elgato product that as soon as I went to pull it on camera, they start calling me and telling me I can't show it. Well, this time I get to show a product and they can't stop me. This is the Elgato 4K 60S Plus. If we can get some autofocus going on it. There we go. 4K 60S Plus. I have it in my hands. HDMI in, HDMI out, power, USB Type-C, SD card reader, input audio port, record button. I showed this off at CES. I even had samples in my CES video, so if you missed that, be sure to check that part out as you, you know, don't want to miss it. I can't really say more than that. This is all that I've said in my CES video. I have it in person. I have it in the studio. It's real. It's awesome. Content coming soon. I am very, very freaking stoked. It's not even the only capture card we have today. This is a box from a company that you may not have had or heard of in a very long time. It's from Hapag or Hapag. I never figured out how you say it. It's kind of German. Funny enough, they're actually in a city called Hapag or Hapag in New York. If you were around for the start of gaming YouTube, that scene, everyone had the HD PVR. Doesn't really work on Windows 10 these days. There's drivers for it, but the software I've never gotten to work. But they reached out and wondered, hey, why haven't you been covering our capture cards before? So now we are. Looks like we only got one of the things I had requested. The other one was kind of old. But we have their latest capture card, which kind of looks similar to the HD or 4K 60S Plus. This is their HD PVR Pro 60. It's got SD card recorder as well. You can pass through 4K 60 signals, and then it captures 1080p 60, and it's got some other stuff. I'm pretty stoked to check that out as well. I can't say what I expect to think of it. The PVRs were an interesting time in YouTube, but they lost their relevance as soon as the original Elgato came out. But they do continue to make, like, you know, they haven't had the game streaming market dominance for a little while, but they continued making products behind the scenes. Not a lot of them. They don't seem to have a big product catalog, but they make a lot of stuff that's more used in kind of, you know, the more industry like capture side that you may not think of, not just game streamers, but pretty interesting to think about. I need to get a drink real quick. My throat is killing me, so I'm going to go ahead and run that ad, and then we got 2 webcams and something else to check out, including one from Logitech that I've been tweeting about a lot. I'll be right back in just like 1 minute. Or not. Come on, own dad. Why is it gone now? Hello? Owned is the best place, there we go, to really kick up your visual branding for your live stream to 11. You want better alerts? You want a cool layout so that your webcam frame isn't just hanging out floating in, you know, lonely land and has your name by it. You really want you to stand out from the next guys or the next guys or the next girls. You want to customize something so that it doesn't look the same as everyone else's. The place to go. They have a live viewer for all of your, you know, stream layouts and things like that, so you can in real time how it will look before you commit to downloading it or buying it without, you know, a misleading YouTube video or things like that. They even have social media banners and websites and all sorts of stuff. Head over to eposvox.gg/OWD to learn more. They always have promos going on, so give yourself a bit, toss it to your Witcher and check it. Yep, that's not working. Something was wrong with the source. It didn't like the big source file for that. You guys know it by now. Go check out Owned if you want stream graphics, stream alerts, stream overlays, social media banners. Go check it out. Derek God says, I purchased some Owned overlays. Such a painless experience and ease of use was simple. Thank you for showing me this. Saved me so much time. Used your link too. I didn't pay them to say that, but that's the ad spot I needed. That's the ad spot I needed. I shouldn't have tried to play a video. See, I may be the stream professor, but, you know, things can go wrong in my stream anyway. Live ad equals better. You're right. I was trying to give my voice a break because it was like cutting out, not the microphone, but my actual throat was hurting for a little bit. But, okay. So, couple cool things here before we get to the two webcams, which are the last things, and I promise we're getting to the AMD topic. I really want to spend a lot of time talking about this today. I got sent something from a gentleman by the name of Mike Chi. This is the RetroTink 2X Pro. Now, you may have seen in my N64 HDMI capture review, the RetroTink 2X. This is an updated model, higher quality PCB, better case, full-size HDMI, and then it has like one extra mode option for the filter. And overall, it just makes a nicer, neater package. So I have a video coming soon on some ways to capture analog signals and my thoughts on it and things like that. That's going to be part of the video, and I am super stoked for that. Epos, your 10K rig is dropping frames. No, I apparently, okay, that time it looked like it dropped a frame. That was weird. I apparently, God, my throat. What is happening? Hello. I think I'm being poisoned. I lost the compressed copy of that ad spot, and so I just tried playing the completely uncompressed copy, and OBS did not like it whatsoever. It does not play nice with uncompressed video formats. I don't know where the compressed copy went, because when I went to play it, it was gone, as you saw. Doing some odd stuttering for me. I need to update my throat and voice firmware. It looks smooth on my end. Every once in a while, there's a hitch in like the camera capture card, and that's just due. I haven't figured that out. I actually just switched capture cards. Seems to be working fine now, though. And OBS isn't reporting any new drops. Okay. So which? Oh, okay. So obviously, I'll have a whole dedicated video coming on this. I finally got my hands on the Logitech StreamCam. It just dropped frames then. I just saw the background loop. What? I've had so much trouble with OBS this week. If you tuned into my retro game streaming, retro room stream over on Twitch, I also had this issue. Huh. I don't know what's happening. Anyway. Logitech StreamCam is here, finally. I was not sent one for review. Had to buy it myself. It took them 8 days just to ship it from their warehouse. Don't know what's going on with that. It's going to get reviewed. I have another webcam from Logitech here as well. I did run OBS as an administrator for those asking. I have another webcam that is technically a Logitech webcam, but it may not look like a Logitech webcam that you're used to seeing. If I can get it open, this thing is like ridiculously well packed. Well, it's taped up really well. I'll say that much. This is the last thing we're opening up, by the way. Well, that's because that's not where I'm supposed to open it. I should leave the unboxing to Linus and his new channel. It's not my forte, apparently. Ugh, there we go. What cam is he currently using? The Sony A7S II with a kit lens, so it's a 28 to 70 f3.5 to 5.6, and then I've got a black Pro Mist filter on it. So here we have. This is not the Sub 2R. Oh no. I'm dropping stuff. What the hell is this? I feel like there's two cameras in here. VMIX is a great broadcasting software, but it doesn't support a lot of capture cards. Look at this. Well, this is what happens when you train it to focus on your face. Look at that beauty. This is a reworked Logitech Brio. And I'll explain that in a second. I don't know what this one is. This is another one. This is the C1 Pro. This might be a reworked Logitech C920. It's from a guy overseas. I forget the country name, honestly, at this point. Lithuania. He completely deconstructs the Logitech C920 Brio. He has a few other webcams, or they. I don't know that it's a he. They completely take apart and rework Logitech webcams and allow you to use manual lenses on them and do all this really cool stuff with it. Gives them nice, better housing, lots of cool stuff. And so you can get a little bit of extra quality out of it. You're still limited on the software side to the same software as before, but then you have these, you know, manual lenses that you can utilize. And so I'm pretty stoked to be checking that out. Apparently, oh, damn, that's a really long lens. We'll be checking that out. Apparently my voice is just giving out, so we're going to move on to the main topic that you all are here to see. I will, you know, assuming I can keep talking here. I don't know what's going on with my throat today. Lithuanian here. Oh, nice. Is that StreamCam Plus supposed to be, well, it's not a plus. Is it supposed to be the best consumer webcam? I mean, Logitech might think so, but it's not. All right. That was loud. Let's talk AMD. So, I have been covering AMD's encoder for a little while now within OBS, and back in July, I think it was, I covered the problems that AMD users face with regards to the stability of the plugin, as well as some issues with the quality that it produces. AMD touted it as a great new, you know, streaming capable encoder, and yet the quality wasn't really keeping up, and I was pretty disappointed in that, and I was trying to get some answers out of them. Well, not too long ago, I've been waiting to make a full video about this to tie into my big encoder quality analysis video, but instead this is going to supplement that video. Pretty recently, Zaymar, the original maintainer of, well, not the original, but the maintainer of the AMD encoder plugin for OBS, which does ship with OBS, but, you know, it's still a plugin that has to be developed and maintained separately. He posted and announced that he is stepping down from the project. He will no longer be maintaining it or really having a whole lot to do with the OBS team itself. He still develops a couple other streaming effects plugins, kind of like what I'm using for this drop shadow and things like that. However, he is no longer developing or maintaining that plugin, and that has fallen back onto the OBS developers to figure that out and make it work. And that has been pretty disappointing, because I already felt that there was a big disadvantage to AMD users by AMD not getting more involved in the streaming scene. Now, a lot of people like to think that someone like me has a big NVIDIA bias because NVIDIA is just paying all of us to promote NVINC. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes down to it, NVINC is just far superior to the other available options in terms of, you know, accelerated encoding and things like that is on the market. NVIDIA has spent a lot of money and a lot of time working directly with the developers of OBS, of other streaming platforms, to make their cards, you know, as optimized as possible and to get that software and the technology for it really integrated and really well pulled off. That was the whole new NVINC implementation that I've been talking about for over a year now. NVIDIA put in the hard work and the money to help the developers make that happen. That is an advantage that they are giving the streaming community by putting that time in. Now, that may, you know, inherently they are still a business. that then turns around and benefits them by selling more cards. I'm not pretending it's not, but they have put, the work in for that. AMD has not. They developed they developed their own GPU accelerated encoder, and they said have at it. From what I've heard, they have been very difficult to work with. Zaymar has had nothing but headaches. Apparently recently it's kind of improved, but overall he's had mostly headaches trying to work with AMD to document the encoder, to get it working, to figure out how to best utilize it, and to implement it. And AMD has zero hands-on work with OBS, with any of the other developers to do anything. So having the person who's probably the most familiar with it on the OBS side, and the person who spent, a long time developing that plugin to abandon it, is going to be unfortunate for users of that plugin. The last update to the plugin was back in October of 2019. Now, granted, it still works if you boot up your AMD graphics card, assuming you can figure out the mess of settings that are in there and you want to dig through it. You can still stream with it. It's not like that capability is being removed, although the HEVC option was actually removed from OBS in a recent update. But you can still use it, but you're not going to get any more higher quality improvements. You're not going to get any more features added, or if there's a bug with the encoder, or with the plugin, it all falls onto the OBS team to figure out and deal with it and implement it. And that is really unfortunate. I ended up reaching out to my AMD contact, who I've worked with for the Threadripper reviews and trying to get Navi cards for reviews. I have still yet to they do not want to seed me a Navi card to review for this kind of purpose. So I had to use my Patreon and Flowplane money to go buy a 5500 XT to do my encoder quality analysis. And so I reached out asking for official statements. Specifically, I asked for, can an update be given regarding the encoder process? Because some people have mentioned that there was driver updates. They were hoping there was an encoder quality improvement. And, I was told I would be posted on future updates, and I haven't heard back since August. Secondarily, I also wanted a statement on whether AMD has plans to support the OBS team or get more hands-on with the plugin or with OBS or any of the streaming development. The official answer I got back, and I wish I had prepared to put text on screen for this, and actually I can do that right now in a really goofy way. This is going to be super unprofessional, but I want this to be, readable, legible. That's not legible. Let's do... Does this work? I know this... No, this is dumb. Whatever. For those of you who can read it, the official quote on the encoder side is, on H.264, AMD is continuing to optimize the Radeon Media Engine for efficient, high-performance, and low-latency encode and decode experience in various use cases. Now, this next part is very important. We are committed to elevating Radeon graphics performance in H.264, H.265, and HEVC, and we will roll out these optimizations in a future driver and Radeon Media Engine update. Notice the first part of that the first sentence there, or actually, it's the second part of that first sentence. High performance and low latency encode and decode experience in various use cases. This is not them saying they're going to help game streamers do a better job. This is actually more applicable to, I believe it's called Radeon Now or whatever it's called. They have their own game streaming service. Wendell has actually tested it, and apparently it's really good. It's low latency. It works really nicely, but that is where they're focused in. And with GPU encoding, there is a trade-off that you have between low latency so that it moves really, really fast for purposes like Discord Go Live or game streaming between your computers, and high quality. AMD is dedicated to the low latency side, which is kind of what I speculated back during the launch of the Navi cards. Was I said that AMD's features have always been, kind of catering towards the enterprise level, and they have a lot of stuff with like Stadia and other services where they are streaming H.265 primarily, and so that is where all their functionality and feature set is. And 100% the H.265 HEVC encoder on these cards are freaking phenomenal. However, the H.264 is still getting kind of ignored. Now, their second response with regards to OBS specifically, because I said, okay, this is a great time, and I believe every single one of you watching right now needs to tweet this at AMD. But my stance is that it is currently a good time, given that the maintainer of the plugin for OBS has left. It is a great time for AMD to step in, take a card from NVIDIA's playbook and to really get involved with the streaming scene, win over some of that PR back, get game streamers on their side, and they could do a lot of work. They're not doing that. The official statement, which I have been given the impression that they didn't even understand the question. They said, on AMF for OBS, we are sharing a statement from the OBS team. As an open source project, OBS is built on the development effort by the community. The AMF's plugin implementation in OBS is now maintained by Jim, the lead designer of OBS. That didn't really answer my question. My question was, are they going to have any plans to take over it? Are they going to get involved in any more hands-on capacity? And they didn't really have an answer for that, which means they're probably not anytime soon. They have a lot of really talented engineers that are working on the hardware and some on the software. In fact, I had an issue in my preparation for my quality analysis video where I was testing HEVC and H.265 with the AMD cards, and I could not get CBR to function properly in FFmpeg or Handbrake. There's some issue with it, and I posted on the FFmpeg subreddit, didn't get a single response, posted directly as an issue on GitHub and got one of the AMD engineers to figure it out. They tested it for me and they found the answer so that the issue could be resolved, and it explains why it's an issue with Handbrake as well, which is pretty cool. So the engineers there are doing a pretty great job and are trying their best, but it's not being translated through the communication wall to their PR people or to the people who are making the, executive decisions to try to get more involved. And this is really freaking unfortunate. Like I said, I do think that pretty much everyone watching, if you're interested in streaming, if you're interested in, competition of streaming, if you have an AMD card and you want to be able to stream with it better, you should be tweeting at AMD and reaching out to AMD and saying, hey, we love what you're making, but we think you need to do a better job of stepping in and working with streamers, with OBS, with XSplit, with Wirecast, with anybody to make the encoder better, to improve the encoder quality, and make the experience a better experience. Because at this point in time, they are not doing that. They are dropping the ball. And this is why NVIDIA is wiping the floor with them. NVENC was already great. Then Turing came out and NVENC was even better. And then they worked with OBS to make an even better plugin for OBS for NVENC. And then they're developing the RTX broadcast AI engine thing that I covered before, where you're going to get virtual green screening and filters and all this other stuff that runs on the Turing cards, which just further and further and further solidifies NVIDIA graphics cards as the best choice for game streamers, which just seems silly. It seems completely unnecessary when, obviously it was necessary. That's how competition works, and it's great for NVIDIA, and it's great for those of us who run NVIDIA, but it seems completely unnecessary that AMD is not getting involved. Like, they totally have the capacity. They need to be doing it, and I think it's pretty freaking bonkers that they're not. So that's my piece on the AMD story. Anyone looking for a TLDR, as I just saw someone commenting, that is why you can rewind in the stream. Just do so. I've got these new cards to indicate where I'm at. So you can do that. It's fine. Go for it. But AMD card owners that are also interested in game streamers are in a really, really tough point, tough spot at this point. And it is very difficult to, it sucks to look at. Those asking if you have a NVIDIA or an AMD card like RX 580, should you do X264 very fast or AMF? If you can do X264 very fast, go for it. Otherwise, try AMF, because like a 2200G is probably not going to be able to do very fast for very many settings. But, go for it. Try what works for you. And, go for there. I will have my quality analysis video coming soon that actually kind of, analyzes at what part of the what tier the quality lines up at, where X264 very fast, super fast, ultra fast, whatever, versus AMF on this generation versus NVENC on 10 series, 7 series, 8 series, whatever. I have a big video on that coming soon, so don't miss that. We got one more main topic here for today, and I specifically have a video coming soon detailing some more stuff about NDI. I've talked about it a couple times with regards to, live streaming between PCs without a capture card and things like that. I have a whole big video essay showing all the different possibilities that can be done with NDI. Well, there's a new technology for it called SRT that integrates into VMIX, and it's this whole separate transport protocol that lets you stream basically NDI over the internet to any other, location to manage from there, but you also can manage your entire stream. You can basically run an entire VMIX like stream operation from another computer in another room, and it's all, at least within, when you're in the same house, it is all, you know, on the same network rather, it's all low latency enough that it just feels like you're controlling the streaming rig directly, which is really impressive. I think it's pretty cool technology. I just wanted to shout it out. And then there is the NDI cloud software, which is used to manage SRT and all of the different NDI things. And it is really freaking cool. Bird Dog has that set up. There's a lot of cool NDI technology going on. And like I said, I have a whole video dedicated to that coming next week or the week after. It's already up on Flowplane. Go subscribe, flowplane.com/EposVox. But I am very, very stoked on this kind of technology. To wrap up today's stream, that was cool seeing chat scroll in like that. That was weird. To wrap up today's stream, I wanted to talk about a couple cool things that I found that streamers might be interested in. The first one that I found is someone recommended with regards to capturing VHS tapes and things like that, the Blackmagic Design Ultra Studio HD Mini. I've never used an Ultra Studio line of capture cards from Blackmagic. I've only ever used their deck link and their intensities and things like that. This is another tier above those, and it has HDMI out and then takes in SDI and composite, component, RGB, S-video, all in through BNC cables, and it takes them in completely uncompressed formats. And apparently this does a really good job with VHS capture and analog console capture, where some of their older products like the Intensity Pro kind of doesn't really keep up with it these days for for analog capture on modern drivers on Windows 10 and things like that. Like a lot of the modern drivers has kind of messed up interlacing support on the Intensity Pro and things like that. So it is expensive by all means, but it is something that I'm interested in checking out for myself and may pick up at some point soon. I also wanted to shout out Bar Raider is a person who has been developing a lot of cool projects for the Elgato Stream Deck. Custom plugins, custom tools to do with it. They've been developing a lot of cool stuff. And one of their latest ones is called the Windows Mover. And it's a tool that allows you to set up Stream Deck buttons to automatically maximize, minimize windows, change their height or width, change their position. So you can set up basically a multi-action in your Elgato Stream Deck that automatically opens windows and then resizes them to specific positions so that you can get a full like stream layout of your chat over here, your OBS over here, your camera over here, this, that, and the other, all in these different places, all with one press of the button on Stream Deck. They do some really cool stuff. Make sure you check it out. Link will be in the description once the stream ends. Also, there was a test done apparently from Warner Brothers testing if people could see the difference between 4K and 8K, since a lot of people have been saying it's pointless. And I posted that whole meme about it. I don't actually have the source on this. People have just been posting pictures of the slides, but they did a few different kinds of content. They did test on an 88-inch TV, so keep that in mind. That's always a little iffy there. But there were people who had what's considered excellent 2010 vision and were sitting close to the screen could see the difference between 8K and 10K. Now, that's not necessarily the most convincing result, and they were testing with completely uncompressed footage, apparently. And again, on an 88-inch 8K TV. But I do think there's something to be said, and seeing more people test the situations in which 8K could be viable is always a good thing. So it's just worth keeping in mind, and I wanted to share that with you. I didn't even move the topic along. Whatever, that's fine. I'm still learning this new layout. And that's pretty much it for this episode of Streamer News. We had a couple super chats I want to run through and make sure I hit here. Susanna Pretty said, get a cookie for the baby with the £5 or euro. I always get those mixed up. I think that's the euro. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. I will. We got to wait a couple months, but its first cookie will be on you. And then we had another one from Recycled, 144 hertz for now, and Shadowplay finally. Never, not anytime soon. That also, well, Shadowplay, that would be lovely, but probably not. The encoders don't always play nice with high refresh rate stuff, but I do have a cool video on that coming soon. But for GeForce Now, I don't know. That kind of isn't the target market of something like GeForce Now, so I don't know that I would see that as being a viable like expectation. At some point it's possible, but let them figure out all the kinks for 60 hertz first, because there's still a lot for them to work out before we go demanding, 144 hertz and 120 hertz and all of that, because that could get messy really fast. Of Of course, we have Zombie as a new channel member. Thank you so much. By joining as a channel member, you get access to our secret Discord chat on my Discord server at eposvox.com/Discord. If I can remember my own URL. And you get early access to videos, behind the scenes content, things like that. So be sure to join us at eposvox.com/Discord. If I can spell, bam, bam, bam. I think there was one chat I wanted to respond to real quick. Would you suggest X264 or AMD encoding when you have a Red Devil 5700 XT and a 2700X? You could probably do better with the processor encoding, but you got to test for yourself. It's always something trial and error. What runs smoothest to your desires? Hades Stamps gives $6.72 and says here, there. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Streamer News, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. We have our next big baby shower this weekend, so that will be exciting. And then I can finally share the baby list public. In the meantime, if you want to ship anything over for the unboxing segment, you can send that over to P.O. Box 459, Jeffersonville, Indiana, zip code 47131. I always like shouting that out because people ask and I forget to mention it from time to time. But my throat's giving out. We talked about the main topic. Go check it out if you missed it. Go rewind. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Come follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/EposVox, and on Twitch, twitch.tv/EposVox. Thank you. See you later.